Welcome to our posts. Today we will see stories of r/TrueOffMyChest. To my husband's female colleague. I do not know your Reddit name, but you finally gave me a reason to use this throwaway. I know you looked through this sub after you got advice here telling you to come clean to me about your affair with my husband. I personally couldn't find a thread that fit the description. But could be the wrong sub or you deleted it, so if you read this and it sounds familiar, then yes, it's about you. I have no plans of speaking to you in the future, but I want to make a few things clear. Yes, I do remember when we first met at the Christmas party and you kept trying to get my husband alone to talk. You pouted so much when he refused I thought you would quack. Do you remember how all of his colleagues were friendly with me? I remember when you approached my husband and I walking home from my birthday dinner. I'm pretty sure this was a coincidence, but seeing my husband practically jump away from you trying to hug him was the highlight of my night. I know my husband is sexy, of course I know, I married him and had kids with him. But I bet you didn't know because you have only been at the company for a few months that your co-workers used to be my co-workers. I know all about you trying to get him alone after meetings, not only straight from my husband because you make him feel uncomfortable but also from them. Did you think he wouldn't talk to me after you accidentally sent him 2 provocative photos on 2 separate occasions? Did you think you could really get him? Did you look at his Instagram and think, wow, I want that life, I just need to lie to his wife and it's all mine? Do you think knocking on my door when I'm hosting a dinner party to hand me printouts of your conversations with him that I would go off on the deep end and divorce him? I'm pretty sure HR have spoken to you already about your inappropriate behavior and misuse of his personnel file. I'm sure you are shocked maybe you didn't think my husband would report it. I don't know what repercussions you will get and I don't care. If you come near me, my husband, our kids, or our nice home again, police will be called. A word of advice: if you're going to fabricate messages you might want to get rid of the wrong number or at least replace it with a name. Next story. I am leaving my boyfriend over a prank. I am 18 female, have been with my boyfriend, 20 male, for almost 2 years. I moved in with him last August, and things have been pretty rocky. My whole life I've struggled with my mental health, specifically depression, anxiety, and self-harm. I've been clean for a while though. I also have a history of trauma, but I don't need to get into that. I made sure my boyfriend knew this when we started dating, because I wanted him to be able to nope out of the relationship if that was too much for him to deal with. He assured me it wasn't an issue. He never seemed to really get the whole mental health thing though. He would make comments saying stuff like depression is just spicy sad and people with trauma should just get over it. He also thinks that only veterans can get PTSD. I've tried explaining things to him, but he just brushes me off, so I do the best to ignore him. Recently he started watching couple prank channels on YouTube, and he started pranking me. At first it was just small things like putting way too much flavor in my water, or salt in a bite of my food. I laughed it off, it didn't really bother me. But then he started jumping out and scaring me. That kind of stuff really affects me sometimes because of my PTSD, and I tried to explain that to him. He would apologize but do it again the next day. I was getting annoyed and frustrated, but I tried to let it be. Things escalated when last week when he put some noisemakers under the toilet seat in the middle of the night. I woke up to go to the bathroom and sat down, boom. It being late at night, me being half awake, and the loud noise all mixed together and gave me a full-blown panic attack. I was on the bathroom floor crying and having flashbacks. After I don't know how long I stopped crying and was just staring into space, having flashbacks. He came in because I guess he noticed I was gone for a while. When he saw me sitting on the floor he remembered his little prank and started laughing. I just stared at him for a second, got up and called him an butt. I slept in the living room the rest of the night. The next day I sat him down and I told him he cannot keep scaring me like this. No more jumping out at me, no more loud noises. He pretty much sighed and rolled his eyes, but he said he would stop. Everything was fine for a week. I thought this whole prank thing was finally over. Yesterday I got home from being out with a friend, actually feeling better for the first time in a while. When I walked in the house all the lights were off, so I assumed he was still at work, which isn't abnormal because sometimes he works late. I plugged my phone in because it died on my way back home, and when it powered on I got a notification that he sent me a text. It just read, "So sorry, I love you." I replied saying it's okay, I'll see you when you get home, love you. And I heard his phone ding in the bathroom. That was weird, I thought. I got up to go get his phone, and when I got into the bathroom, I saw him laying in the bathtub. The bath was full of water, there was an empty bottle of pills on the sink, and he was covered in blood. His wrists were cut, and there was just so much blood. My heart just sank. I started having a panic attack. I was hyperventilating, crying, and I was just frozen. After a minute, I ran to the living room to get my phone to call 911, and I hear splashing and then laughter. I turned around to see him standing in the hallway just laughing. He said he got me, and I should have seen the look on my face. I don't even know how to describe the feelings I was experiencing. I was so mad and sad and scared. I didn't even say anything, I just walked out of the house. I just kept walking, and eventually, I figured I needed to call my friend to come get me. At first I didn't tell her what happened, I just told her I needed her to come get me, it was an emergency. She came and took me back to her house where I'm at now. My boyfriend keeps calling me, and he sent me some texts saying he was sorry and it was just a joke, and I'm overreacting and I need to come home. I'm not answering. I don't even know what I would say to him. My friend is going over to his house tomorrow to get my things when he's at work. She said I can stay with her however long I need. I don't know what I'm going to do. I just feel numb. Next story. At my fiance's work party, a girl he has been training pulled me aside to talk to me about the way he is at work. I have been with my fiance for 3 years, we're getting married in September. I have always had bad relationships, and I never thought I'd end up with someone who I could trust implicitly and not question their loyalty. I wanted it badly, but didn't think I would have it. For a long time now I have felt that trust with my fiance, and it's such a good feeling to feel so secure in our relationship and not be constantly questioning what we are or where I stand with him, etc. I know he's been training a new girl at work, he's told me a little about her, and I have just been so proud of him that he's moved up enough in his company to be training someone, but I haven't thought much of it. But at this work event tonight, I met the girl he's been training and she was pretty drunk. She came over to where I was sitting and told me she wanted to talk to me about my fiance, and I gotta admit my heart dropped a little. She started off by saying that there's a lot of weird people in their office, but that my fiance isn't one of them and she really appreciates that. She then went on to say that if he isn't talking about work then he's talking about me, and that he is head over heels in love with me and makes that evident daily. She told me how much she loves it when he talks about me, that it gives her hope she'll find someone like him someday. She said she's going through a divorce currently, after a very abusive relationship. She said she is so used to feeling objectified and sexualized, but that my fiancé doesn't make her feel that way at all. She told me he doesn't look at her or any other girls in the office in that way, and that he is so respectful, encouraging and supportive, and just a breath of fresh air. She told me over and over how happy she is we're together, and my heart was just bursting the whole time. At one point, namely the beginning of our relationship, I would have felt so threatened by this. I wasn't secure enough in myself to hear things like this from another girl and not feel insanely jealous. But I was blown away tonight because I didn't feel jealous or threatened in the slightest, I just felt overwhelmingly proud of him for being the man that he is and glad that he makes his female coworkers feel safe. Yes, it's the bare minimum for a guy to treat a girl with respect. But unfortunately, guys don't always do that, in my experience. It makes me so thankful that he's mine and I'm his, and that he has such a good heart and soul. It makes me really glad to know that this girl is able to go to work and feel safe around him and know that he isn't going to sexualize her or put her in an uncomfortable position. I'm proud of myself too for the growth I have undergone over the course of our relationship. As well, soon after we started dating, I went to surprise him at work and flipped out when I walked in and saw him talking to a girl in a proximity that I deemed too close. I cringed so hard looking back on it, but it's where I was at the time. We both had issues to work through and we've both gone through therapy. Both together and individually, and I feel like we're at such a strong point now. The girl and I bonded over some shared interests and shared dislike of a few other people at our table. So I think I actually may have gotten a friend out of it too. And I know someone will comment that they're just going to ditch me and run away together, and that's fine if you want to think that. But I know my relationship and I'm really happy, so just know in advance it won't get to me. I just hope this doesn't come across as bragging, it's absolutely not my intention. I just have had a few drinks and my heart's been exploding all night and I just needed to type it all out and get it off my chest, so thank you. Next story. I F'd my best friend last night and now I want to throw up. I am 21 female, have a best friend, 20 female, that's been with me through hell and back for a long time. She's my girl. She's my rock. She's my writing star. We plan to be famous authors one day. But last night? All we wanted was to be under the influence of something. So, she suggested I walk to the store and get a bottle of UV blue. I came back. We drank. I poured my heart out and began crying and laughing. She held me. Eventually, she dared me to take a double shot and I slammed them both. I immediately ran to the toilet and threw up. Then proceeded to get in the shower and just lay on the tub floor while she sat on the toilet lid. She interrupted me mid-rant and asked me, "What would you do if I said I wanted to kiss you right now?" God. I never stood a chance. We took it downstairs and dear Lord, was it amazing. I hated how amazing it was. The Hannah Montana movie was in the background. Afterwards we proceeded to just laugh and talk and cuddle in the bed together. The next morning, now, it really dawned on me what I just did. Oh my God. That's supposed to be my best friend. Why am I gripped with so much anxiety right now? I want to never mention it again and let it float in the air. Next story. My son wants to be a landlord and is insulting me because I am a tenant. I am 41 years old man and my son 15 years old has taken a keen interest in becoming a landlord but has also started insulting me for not owning my own house. I am glad to see he has taken some initiative, however I am concerned about his mindset. We currently live in an apartment and he has told me that I am a failure and a rentoid and that he is embarrassed to be related to someone without any land. I tried to explain to him that houses cost a lot and that I have worked very hard to provide for our family and that there is nothing wrong with choosing to rent. I also explained to him that landlords often mistreat their tenants and that if he wants to be a landlord he should work on being a kind one. However, he has insisted that it is the right of landlords to charge whatever they want and has said when he is a landlord he wants to evict single mothers, which I found very concerning. He spends a lot of time on the internet and I am worried some ideas from online may be influencing his thinking. This month when the landlord came to collect rent my son offered him a $50 tip out of his own money. I tried to explain you do not tip landlords, but he insisted I was being a greedy renter and taking advantage of the landlord. I explained that we paid significant rent already, but he did not listen. Before this started he was really into video games and did not seem to try very hard in school, which I found concerning. On the one hand his grades have improved and he even started walking around the neighborhood offering to shovel to make some extra money which he has put into savings. However, his words hurt me and I feel his mindset is not constructive and compassionate. I don't want to discourage this newfound success, but I am very worried about him. Next story. Husband kept making jokes about how he likes them petite and I may regret my decision to bite back. Excuse the pun. I have always been a small person. I'm 5'3" and usually around 43 kilograms. Even after having our child I was able to maintain that. However, we recently moved to a cold country and I've found myself eating a lot more due to 1. Staying indoors more. And 2. I'll be less cold if I'm fatter, so in order to address the latter concern and save on our energy bills I've put on maybe 4 kilograms. Now, my husband and I have been together 8 years and, as mentioned, have one adorable 3 years old together. My pregnancy wasn't exactly a good time, but I was all belly and came out no stretch marks, much to his happiness and my absolute indifference. Since the weight gain he started making comments. The first 2 were jokes, like I said something about the size of his chips, small, and he said, well you know I like them petite. The next we were buying clothes and he was like, you're a size 6 yet? Or, so being my usual CBF self I didn't say anything until today. When he suggested I do some star jumps to keep warm. I pressed him saying, are you suggesting I need to exercise? And he laughed saying it wouldn't hurt. Now, I snapped kind of in a light-hearted way, said, listen, I get it you like me petite, but I like Alexander Skarsgård in Northman. Are you gonna sort yourself out to be like him? He has always been underweight/skinny, which is not my usual type, but I never complained. Now he's doing push-ups and it looks like I'm going to have to start getting on top of my star jumps. I am fuming. How does 4 to 5 kilograms even make a difference? I guess on my small frame it does, but I'm still upset about this. I went through a massive illness with anxiety and was hospitalized for malnutrition, so if anything he should be happy I'm being healthier. I'm so confused and upset and stressed about this whole situation. Maybe until he actually looks like the beefcake in that movie he'll start acting on it. Hating life right now, I honestly feel like I'm scared to eat in front of him. I hope you guys like this video. If you did, make sure like, comment, share and subscribe the channel or posts.